Blog Talk Radio.
Are you looking to make your next event sizzle? Then you want to get in touch with Lee Entertainment. Mark Lee, the founder of Lee Entertainment, has worked with such notable festivals as the Art of Cool, the National-Black-Theatre Festival, the Bull Durham Blues Festival, and the Durham Centerfest, as well as the Festival of the Eno. And it definitely can provide you with some great entertainers as well as help you make your event sizzle if you're looking forward to trying to have an event in your town. Mark Lee is willing to travel anywhere in this country to make your event sizzle and has entertainers that are also willing to travel as well. So if you're looking for quality entertainment, definitely get in touch at bluesradio@gmail.com.
Bass players, best thing you can do for your overall sound. You've got to see this. New Basstone Incorporated makes Nightwalker bass guitar tube preamps. This preamp will give your sound such a boost, it's just incredible. Try it today. Try it today now. A great sounding bass guitar will make for a great sounding band. Make your band sound at its best. Best thing you can do for your bass guitar sound. NewBassTone.com. NewBassTone.com.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Call in to join the conversation at 646-668-8393.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is the 22nd of October. We're here on another Monday night. It's the six-man Dean Geronimo, and as always, from NJ to MC, I'm in the studio with my man Mark Lee. So, Mark, tell me what's good in your neck of the woods, my brother.
Oh, it's been a very busy weekend here in Durham, North Carolina. We've had all kinds of exciting things going on. A lot of them were taking place at the Hayter Heritage Center, but they were just actually happening throughout the community and everything. One of the things was Friday night. You know, we've had farmers on our show before. There was actually a Black Farmers Conference that took place. It was called the BUGS Conference, which is Black Farmers and Urban Gardeners Conference. They actually rotate around the country and have been to various other places ever since they started doing these conferences several years back. But on Fridays, they were at the Haytide as part of their kickoff event, so I had a chance to meet with some farm advocates and things of that nature. It was actually hosted by the National Black Food and Justice Alliance along with BUGS and the Land Loss Prevention Project. So had a chance to meet some of these farmers and activists that are doing some great work in our agricultural communities and actually talk to some of them about being on our show. So we might be having some more farmers come on the show in the very near future. So definitely looking forward to hearing from them. Did get a chance to go by two of the panel discussions, one on land loss prevention, because, you know, that is a major issue where we are continuing to lose our farmland on a regular basis. So that could be a very dangerous thing, us losing farmland like that. So that had them as in town and was definitely checking out what they were all about. And, you know, we just keep losing more and more of our land. I remember we used to have many plots of land throughout the country, and now our percentage is drastically reduced. So we're looking forward to having them on the show in the near future to talk about what that is all about and what they're doing to combat that. And then they had one on tourism and agro-tourism. So there's a sister in Mississippi who's got like this whole thing where she's got people coming down to her farm, looking at the land. You know, they're buying products. They're even having a chance to even buy land property on her farm as part of a co-op. So she was definitely talking about that and everything. So it was definitely some very interesting information that was passed on about agro-tourism and how even the agricultural community can be a boost to the tourism world. So she's got like a little cottage that she makes available to people. In fact, she's even had some athletes that have come on there and given her labor. I think she mentioned a football team from somewhere down not that far from Mississippi, some other sports teams that had actually been on her property. And, you know, as part of their work that they were doing, they actually got to do some farm work. So that was part of, like, their, I guess, community service that they had to do. But they also got some hands-on experience in what farming was all about. So she was mentioning that and talking about that. And she's actually even had Kevin Hart was on her property and shot a video on that property that is featured in that she put it. He came back and actually co-branded her bus because she got like a pink bus. I don't know if she's a member of Mary Kay or whatever fraternity or sorority that's pink, but anyway, her bus is pink. But when he came back, it had the whole Heart label on it as well. So her bus has been co-branded by none other than Kevin Hart. So she was quite impressed by that, and I don't think that co-branding is going anywhere. She's definitely going to be using that as part of Heart thing. And I cannot blame her for that in the least bit. He needed the bus in order to do some stuff that he was doing with his career. And then when I guess at some point he asked her, "Can I borrow the bus?" But he didn't just return the bus; he returned it with a whole new wrapping, and definitely had his name on it, but also the name of the company. So I think that was a win-win situation, as folks like to say. And then on Saturday, they had a Get Out the Vote event that was on the Haytime Center. Like I said, the Farm Conference actually moved down. Those workshops were actually on the campus of North Carolina Central University, but the kickoff was on Friday. But then on Saturday, there was a Value of the Vote Summit. So that was going on from 2 to 6. And it was intergenerational. So we had all kinds of folks that were there encouraging people to get out and vote, because we do know that voting is very important, particularly in these midterm elections. They had an art contest. So some people wrote did some artwork. Some of our school kids that encouraged people to vote, and there were panel discussions, and there was other things that were going on. They're basically trying to make sure that we got our folks out there in order to vote during this very important midterm election. It was called the Intergenerational Summit on Essential Voting Strategies, and one of the key people that put this thing together, and I must give her a shout-out, is Mary White, who was a longtime activist here in Durham, and he was definitely a key part of putting this thing together. She did have some other allies like Vicki Miller and others that helped put it on. But, one of the scary things doing that thing was I ran into, it was mostly Democrats who were at the event, but there was a Republican. I did talk to him. He tried to convince me that his way was the right way, that Trump was a wonderful person, and that he was a practical pragmatist and all of these other kind of things. I don't think he won either me or Vicki over, but he tried to do that. He tried to win us over.
How long did that conversation take?
That conversation lasted much longer than either me or Vicki wanted it to last. Because, like I said, we were outside talking to him in the parking lot of Haytime, and it had to been, I would say, a good 30-minute conversation. It might have even been longer than that. But I did invite him on to the show. He did say he's going to come on. And through him, I have learned that there are 2 African-Americans that are running for House seats that are from Durham. So Angelo Birch, who is actually the executive director of Chuck Davis's company, and you've heard me talk about Chuck. I never heard of Chuck being a Republican, but maybe I'll find out differently from Angelo. But his person that is running his company, the African American Dance Ensemble, is running for one of the House seats. And then there's another young lady that's a sister that is running for another seat. So I have already reached out to Angelo Birch and invited him to be on the show. He's actually out of town, I believe, in some other state or something. But he has told me that he is interested in being on our show. So, we come from a different standpoint. I'm a longtime Democrat. I believe you are as well. But, we're welcome to talk to people of all different realms and all different kinds of philosophies and thoughts. So I have invited him onto the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got to say. And I've also invited Mr. Stark, who is a white gentleman who has got all kinds of ties. He's actually, I believe, involved in the legal system, right? He's a lawyer, because he told me that he's done some interesting music law as well, including some music law with some folks that are pretty famous, because he somehow handled the music for the guy that wrote The Gambler, among other folks that have done some really important things in the music community. So we're definitely going to talk to both Mr. Stark and Mr. Birch at some point. So the conversation lasted much longer than I think either me or Vicki was intended to last, but he was definitely, he had our ear, and I think he didn't want to let go of that ear. I did get out to do early voting today. I hate to tell you this, Mr. Stark, you did not get my vote. I did do some voting, and that was not one that I scratched into my voting, because I did get early voting in today. We had David Hall on last week, and I did tell David that I knew early voting was important, and that these midterm elections were important. So I did go to early voting, did see Dave Hall at the elections, at the Board of Elections site. I did see a couple of other candidates, so I have invited some of them to be on the show as well. But Yeah, that conversation probably lasted much longer than it needed to. And then on Saturday evening, we had a poet in town, a poet all the way from Uganda. We don't have Uganda on our list of places yet, but I did invite him to be on the show as well. He is a 3-time stroke survivor, and a part of his prose that he writes, I mean, he does some poetry, but he is also a prose writer, and part of the prose that he writes has to do with being a stroke survivor. So I have invited Mugabe Bianca, I believe I'm pronouncing that name correctly, to be on the show as well. So hopefully we'll have those folks that I have mentioned on upcoming episodes. Because, I've been out there reaching out to people. You'll be glad to know, because I said I was going to reach out to all kinds of folks. I've reached out to a couple of actors from in the past, like back we did with Kathleen, and I've heard back from 1 or 2 of them that they're interested in being on the show. And yes, I think I told you that I would reach out to members of the swinger community. I have. I've heard back from some of them, and they too are interested in being on the show. So we have found some people from all kinds of communities that are interested in being on the show. So I'm out there digging and surfing away, trying to find some interesting guests. So I've, like you said, found some of them, and I've mentioned some of them to you.
It ain't nothing wrong with that, man. As an independent voter, I've been an independent voter since I was 18. I vote by mail. I sent my ballot in 3 weeks ago, so I'm done with all of that right there. We're just waiting until the next thing comes around. This weekend for me, I was down at the land of Troy, better known as Virginia State University, for our homecoming. We'll probably have the dates for 2019 within the next week. So if you're listening, if you want to go down there, make sure you get your reservation, or you'll be sleeping in the car. So, it was a very nice time this weekend. I'm back. So it's back to the regular grind. We're here in Straight Talk with Dean and Mark, man. Call in and join the conversation. And that's almost right on time. So if you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 646-668-8393. Welcome to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. You are on the line. Who do you have the pleasure of speaking with this evening?
Hello?
Hello, is that Brother Tim Jackson?
Yes, sir, man. Look, I had the hardest problem trying to figure out how to get on the air.
Well, you are on the air now, because all you got to do is just call in.
Come back.
Got you on the air.
I was jumping in. Where are you doing this show from?
Well, I'm doing it right now from my house, and Dean is actually in New Jersey. So like I told you, you can call from anywhere. So, yeah, I'm doing it from my apartment, and I need to give a shout-out to them. There are some happy people. So I paid my rent, Duke Matter, so y'all are happy. And so I did tell them I would give them a shout-out, so they have now gotten their shout-out. But, Tim, that's where I'm doing it at, and Dean is over there in Jersey.
I literally thought you might have been at the hay tie. I was jumping in my car to ride to the hay tie because I thought I couldn't get through. I didn't get no directions on how to get on the air. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna ride down there and see if he's doing this from the hay tie. And I was in my car when he said hello, and I was like, hello. So yes, it's the poet Tim Jackson, man. I'm on the air.
I appreciate you being on the air, Mr. Tim Jackson. So, Tim, one of the things we do is we talk to people about how they got involved in the arts. I have known you for a number of years. We have gone down together to the National Black Theatre Festival and had good old times down there. But just tell us, what got you involved in the spoken word community? Because as long as I've known you, you've always been a powerful brother, both with your spoken word, but also not afraid to use your spoken word to let folks know what you're thinking about issues and causes of the time. Tim?
You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Well, I've always had a passion for the arts, but I'm from a little small town called Plymouth, North Carolina. Big shout out to P-Town. So we didn't have a lot of access and accessibility to the arts, but it was always in me through church plays, and I always sat around and I wrote a lot of little poetry since I was like a child. But as I went off to college, it wasn't a thing that was big, so I kind of put all my spoken word and poetry on a shelf even though I kept writing, it wasn't something that I told people I did. You know, people in college chasing dreams and careers, so I'm kind of ashamed that I just love to write poetry.